Good morning, children. Today we are going to study a very famous poem, The Trees by Adrian Rich. The poem by Adrian Rich is a metaphor which compares the trees to women. The poet is a feminist and highlights the desire of women to be free and go out in the open. The trees want to free themselves from the floor of the house and go in the open forest. They are cramped in the houses and their feelings can be felt and heard by the poet. The poem has a symbolic meaning. The trees are an extended metaphor for women. The poet says that the women have rested, healed, and recovered and are ready for their primary purpose to renew the empty forest of mankind. Now I am going to tell you the summary in a nutshell. The poet talks about trees symbolically. They refer to women who have been healed and are ready to move out of their houses to fulfill their primary purpose, to renew the forest of mankind. As women have remained indoors, the forest has become empty, the birds and insects rendered shelterless. The sun's rays do not have the tree trunks and leaves to fall upon and thus reach the earth. The poet says that the forest will be full of trees the next morning. The roots of the trees are working hard to separate from the floor of the veranda where they have remained fixed. The leaves and the branches are moving towards the glass windows. They are desperate to move out, just like a newly discharged patient who has recovered completely moves to the exit door of the hospital in a hurry. The poet is sitting in her house with the doors of the veranda open. She is writing letters but doesn't mention this movement of the trees. It is night time, the sky is clear, and a bright moon is visible. She can smell the leaves and lichen, which seem to be calling out desperately. She hears the glass of the window pane breaking. The trees are moving out, and the fast blowing wind embraces them. As the trees have reached the forest, the tall and strong oak tree overshadows the moon, and it seems that the moon has been broken into several pieces. Moving on to explanation. The trees inside are moving out into the forest that was empty all these days, where no bird could sit, no insect hide, no sun bury its feet in shadow. The forest that was empty all these nights will be full of trees by morning. The poet says that the trees are moving out of the confines of the houses. The trees inside are moving out into the forest. Means the trees are moving of the confines of the houses into the open forest. The forest that was empty all these days. Means this is unrealistic, as trees are immovable, and hence we realize that poem has a symbolic meaning. We interpret that trees refer to females who have healed themselves and are ready to move out of their homes into the forest to fulfill their primary purpose of filling the world with mankind. Further, the poetess adds that the forest has been empty for the past many days, and so no birds can be seen as they do not have any trees to sit on. Insects can be seen as they do not have any shelter. and the sunlight cannot form any shadows as there is no tree. Very few, very less trees are there in the forest. The forest of humanity has remained empty for many days, but will soon be full and bright. Now, class, please note down the literary devices that have been used in this first stanza. First literary device is personification. I repeat, personification. Personification you might be knowing, where the inanimate objects are treated as animate objects. So it is in the line, sun bury its feet. Sun has been personified here. Now next figure of speech is enjambment. I repeat, enjambment. E-N-J-A-M-B-M-E-N-T. You know, enjambment, it is continuation of a sentence to the next line. And it is in the line, the forest that was dash 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 trees by morning. Now next figure of speech is anaphora. I repeat, anaphora. A-N-A-P-H-O-R-A. Two lines begin with no. Those lines contain anaphora. Next figure of speech is imagery. I-M-A-G-E-R-Y. And it is in the line, the trees inside are moving out into the forest. Shows kinesthetic imagery. Now next stanza. All night the roots work to disengage themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor. The leaves strain towards the glass. Small twigs, stiff with exertion, long cramped buffs shuffling under the roof, like newly discharged patients, half-dazed, moving to the clinic doors. Now please first of all write the meanings of difficult words. Disengage means remove. I repeat, remove. Strain means pressure. Twigs means small stem. Exertion means effort. I repeat, effort. Cramped means restricted. I repeat, restricted. Cramped means restricted. Buffs means branch. Buffs means branch. Shuffling means mixing. I repeat, mixing. Discharged means send out. Discharged means send out. Dazed means stun. S-T-U-N, stun. I repeat, stun. Now the explanation of second stanza. The poet says, all night the roots work to disengage themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor. The poet explains the struggle by the plants to reach the forest. She says that the roots worked for the whole night to separate themselves from the veranda floor. The leaves tried hard to reach the window of the glass so that they could go outside. Even the small stems of the trees put much of their efforts in order to set themselves free. The big branches were also trying a lot to go out from the roof of the room. We can say that women are desperate for a change, and their effort is compared to that made by a patient who has been released from the hospital and he tries to move out in a hurry although he is confused. Maybe because they are half conscious and are under the influence of some medication, they are unsteady but in a hurry to leave the clinic. Now literary devices. Enjambment is in the line, the leaves strain dash 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 half dazed. Next figure of speech is simile. I have already told you where there is direct comparison, there we get simile. Simile is in the line, trees compared to patients like newly discharged patients. This line contains simile. Now next figure of speech is personification. It is in the line, twigs and buffs have been personified. So there is personification. Now next stanza number 3. I sit inside doors open to the veranda, writing long letters in which I scarcely mention the departure of the forest from the house. The night is fresh, the whole moon shines in a sky still open. The smell of leaves and lichen still reaches like a voice into the rooms. Now, first of all, please note down the meanings of difficult words. Scarcely means barely. Departure means leaving. Lichen means crusty patches of bushes of fungus and algae on tree trunks having a distinct smell. Now the explanation. I sit inside doors open to the veranda writing long letters. The poet says that she is sitting on her veranda writing long letters in which she scarcely mentioned the departure of the forest from the house. Means she doesn't mention the trees leaving her house in her letters. She says that the night is very clear. She can see the complete moon which is shining. The smell of leaves and lichens is like a voice that is yelling and expressing a desire for freedom from the confines of the house. Now please write down the literary devices that have been used in this stanza. First is alliteration. I repeat, alliteration. ALLITERATION. And it is in the line long letters, forest from, sky still, leaves and lichen. All these words have alliteration. The next is enjambment. I repeat, enjambment. It is in the line doors open dash 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 the house. Next is imagery. And the poet has tried to create a scene in which she is observing all the things happening. The night is fresh dash 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 in rooms. Now next stanza 4. My head is full of whispers, which tomorrow will be silent. Listen, the glass is breaking, the trees are stumbling forward into the night. Winds rush to meet them. The moon is broken in like a mirror. Its pieces flash now in the crown of the tallest oak. Write the difficult words. Whispers means murmur. Stumbling means trip over. Flash means glare, glare, or shine. Oak, you all might be knowing, a large strong tree generally used for making furniture. Now the explanation. The poet says, my head is full of whispers. Her head is full of the slow sounds made by the trees which are desperate to move out. These sounds will not be heard the next day. Why? Because the poet asks the reader to listen carefully as a change is about to take place. She hears the glass window breaking and the trees stumble out into the night. The window is blowing outside. It meets the trees. The moon is like a mirror and it appears to have been broken into pieces as the shadow of the oak tree divides the moon into many fragments. Now the literary devices that have been used. Simile. It is in the line, moon is broken like a mirror. So only one figure of speech is there in this stanza. I hope the poem is clear to you. Now moral of the poem is, The Trees by this poet, Adrian Rich, is a thought-provoking poem which offers several possible interpretations and lessons. While the poem does not have a single definite moral, it encourages readers to reflect on themes of identity, self-expression, and the importance of staying true to oneself. So I have already told you, children, the meanings of difficult words that have been used and the figures of speech as well. You all might be knowing. Thank you.